Howdy folks. Today we're going to be walking through the new Active Grid plugin package. Offers a couple more options from our traditional rolling grid and the default SDK stuff, so I'm excited for this one. As usual, we're going to start off with opening up that zip file. Just one plugin in here, the Active Grid. Then you're going to open up SDK per usual. Navigate to your settings and find that plugin manager there under the overlay section. Open it up, go down to the bottom left, click import, bring in that Active Grid plugin package, and as always, you do not need to come in and edit anything in these first couple tabs here. That's just the JavaScript code. There are some styling options for this one, actually like a really large amount of options. We'll touch on that at the end. And then the remote control component that goes with it. And so you're going to load in your, I'm sorry, I skipped a step there. For your component, you're going to click on it and then click Add to Remote Control on the bottom right. Then click OK. That will add this Active Grid controller. Now all of the features and options in this component are shared with the rolling grid component. So if you have one of the latest updates of the rolling grid component, a lot of the buttons are the same, and they will control each other. So switching from auto to manual, page cycling will control one or the other, switching from driver photo to team logo to car logo. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see that a little bit better here. But it's a traditional hide and show. And what this plugin does for you is it's a little bit different than the rolling grid. So the rolling grid is based on starting position, and it's just kind of locked to that. Really doesn't change throughout the race. So you use that during your warm-up lap for your active grid. But what the Active Grid lets you do is take a snapshot in time based on when you click show. So the moment you click show, the lineup is going to lock in and kind of stay there. Let's see, it looks like my HUD is acting a little weird. Let's try and reload it. There it is. So what it's going to do is it's going to lock in the lineup at this moment, the moment you hit show, which means that if you load this up during the grid lap, it should be the starting lineup positions. If you hit this at the end of a stage in a NASCAR race, it will be the stage finishers. If you load this up after a yellow flag pit cycle, as drivers are coming around to line up for a restart, this will be your restart order. And if you do it at the end of the race, it'll be your finishing lineup as well. You might have to be careful with that as drivers exit the race and get out of their car. That might mess up the lineup. But the moment you hit show, it's going to lock in this. It has all the same options as our rolling grid and podium. Driver photos from the SDK driver information app. The team logos, if you set those up in the multi-car team driver overrides. The car logo is the fallback. So if drivers don't have driver photos or team logos and you have either of those selected, it'll switch to car logo. Car logo is just a straight option, or you can go with none. Well, let's go with car logo while we're here. And again, this has the same page roll through as the rolling grid and the podium. You should be able to get through here. But one big key difference, one upgrade on this, is that we actually have class support for this. So if you're running a multi-class race like I'm looking at a replay of right now, you can use, let's see, I've got this remote all zoomed in. You can use the results selector for class the same way we use in our results plugin. It's also the exact same list of classes that are in the default SDK results remote component. So you can use any of them. They're all the same. But I'm going to use this one right here from my results. And this is going to let me switch through GTP, IMSA, P217, because that's what's in this. I think this was an IMSA race that I stole a replay of. I'll let you do that. You can also, it'll work for any classes you've set up in that class set 1 list. But this is really great because you can use this in the middle of a multi-class race to check in on the top 10 going on in each of those classes. And that's pretty much it. So there's not a ton, of complexity here. There's not a ton of options other than, what you need. But really it comes down to how you use it. Like I said, when you hit show is when that lineup will be applied. So different from the rolling grid that uses starting position. This is current position when you show the graphic, lets you do restarts, stage finishes, and kind of anything else that might make sense here. And we've already had a couple of users come up with some really interesting customizations. So they have widened this out and changed some of the styling in a way that makes it different from what I intended it to be, but also pretty neat. So if we go into the back to that plugin manager and take a look at the styling options, one that I definitely want to call out here is this one with a big label here for column stagger. If you were going to use this for more of a starting lineup, a lot of times people would prefer to stagger these columns so they look a little more like a starting lineup. So if you do that, you can see how that changes the tower right here. I've seen some people who have really widened this out to make it more of a full screen, center of the screen, starting grid style. I saw one person actually eliminated the car images altogether and made this a 20 driver kind of starting grid situation with just text and none of the logos. And you can pretty much do all of that just through the CSS styling that's loaded into the plugin. So a ton of customization options on this one. I like to run my usual style overrides with this for my GEC league. Let me turn those on and have it match my tower and everything else with that nice GEC orange. And again, you can customize this to your heart's content to get it to look just how you want it to. I try to add as much CSS options in here as I can. Let me take that stagger back out. I prefer it with no stagger, but I know plenty of people like it that way. Anyway, this is a pretty simple overlay in terms of what it does, but how you use it gives you a lot of options, and the styling gives you a lot of options too. So I hope you guys really enjoy this one. This is the Active Grid plugin package.